Dr. Doucet. Thank you for sitting down with me to answer some questions about your position with the University of Wyoming. Could you start off by describing your typical work week for us?
A typical week. Well, I currently teach 2 classes in the fall semester. One is face-to-face, it's an undergraduate course, and one is online, it's a graduate course. So my Mondays typically start out with me reviewing comments from the online course over the weekend, and that's when I also start putting together a weekly overview. My weekly overviews are videos. Sometimes they're animations, sometimes I use Camtasia, and I've also used Captivate to compile just a general list of comments and feedback upon which we can reflect from the previous week's discussion and activities. And then I start to put together kind of an introduction for the upcoming week, so what topic we're moving into, and then a final slide that just gives my students a list of expectations and what they're working on for this coming week. So about then, it's time for me to head downstairs for my undergraduate class to teach face-to-face. After that class wraps up, I come back to my office for my office hours. The rest of the afternoon I typically spend on grading, advising meetings, or just administrative tasks that need to get done. Suppose I should mention here that I'm usually in the office by 6:30 in the morning, but I also leave around 3:30 in the afternoon. So it's not like I'm working extra hours. It's just that I like to work earlier in the day. So the rest of the week. Well, Tuesdays are usually filled with meetings. I have a standing program meeting and I have a weekly mentoring meeting with my department chair, and those are typically in the morning. From time to time, I have seminars or other meetings in the afternoon, but when I have free time, that's when I work on grading or taking care of any service activities and administrative tasks that I have to get done. On Wednesdays, I have my face-to-face class again. So in between here, I'm also checking into my online class to make sure that students' questions are being answered and that I'm giving them feedback and generally participating in their online discussions. What else happens on Wednesdays? That's a really good day for me to work on writing. I try to block out some time so that I can do research tasks. And this can be anything from working on IRBs to submit, working through literature reviews, actually writing on a paper, or taking a previous paper and getting it into shape to ship it out for publication. I also use that time for a little bit of planning for future studies or looking for grants that I can go after. Thursdays typically mean some more meetings. I have every other weekly meetings with my research mentor here on campus, and that usually happens on Thursday mornings. But I also try to work on research and writing, any service activities. Lately, I've been doing a lot of advising because the spring semester registration has opened and I have undergraduate and graduate students to advise. And those meetings happen face-to-face or through Skype or through Google Hangout and take anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour depending on the needs of my students. And then Fridays are kind of my open day. I try not to schedule anything on Friday just so that I can have that time available for me to work on whatever it is that needs to get done. So yeah, that's kind of a typical week.
What is the most rewarding aspect of your current position?
Oh, that's an easy one. So one of the students in my undergraduate course has had kind of a rough semester in terms of his personal life, and it led to him considering dropping out of school and even leaving town and trying to find work elsewhere. So I was able to get him into my office, and we were able to talk about it, kind of made sure that he felt comfortable staying and was prepared to try to stick around. But then just about 2 weeks later, it happened again and he disappeared. So I reached out to him, got him to come back into my office, and we had a chat. And we just talked about where he'd been and how we could make sure that he would be successful and how we could keep him in school so he could graduate. About that point, we decided that he wanted to switch to make me his official advisor, and I worked through his spring course schedule with him. I reassured him that dropping 1 or 2 classes a semester might be worthwhile to help him succeed, and that we would build a schedule for him in the spring that would definitely help him with succeeding in school. By the time it was all over, by the time he had laid out everything that had been going on and we worked through some of his personal problems, he gave me a great big hug before leaving my office. And that's the kind of day that I live for, when I can make a difference for my students. So helping them and watching them grow is what makes being a faculty member incredibly rewarding.
What has been your most difficult challenge as a new faculty member?
I'm amused by the notion that as children we love to say no. It's so much fun and it's so easy. But as adults, it's incredibly difficult. I have colleagues who've done their best to help protect me and advise me against taking on activities or more service that might compromise my time and efforts, and trying to keep that eye on tenure and promotions so that I better manage my time. But saying no to other service activities, to serving on committees, to just working in all sorts of other areas, or even research projects that don't directly relate to my agenda, it's really difficult to say no. Well, I guess that's it. I hope this has been helpful. Thanks.